Today's lesson is on comparing and ordering fractions, decimals, and percents. After today, you'll be able to interpret statements of inequality as statements about the relative position of two numbers on a number line diagram. You will also be able to write, interpret, and explain statements of order for rational numbers in real-world contexts. First, we'll look at our key idea. When comparing and ordering fractions, decimals, and percents, write the numbers as all fractions, all decimals, or all percents. For our first example, we're comparing fractions, decimals, and percents. For A, which is greater, 3/20 or 16%? First, we'll look at our study tip to the left. It is usually easier to order decimals or percents. So we're going to convert our fraction to a percent so we can compare it to 16%. In order to put this as a percent, so in order to make 3/20 a percent, we're going to convert it to a fraction out of 100. We would need to multiply the denominator 20 times 5 to get 100. We then would multiply the top times 5 to make sure it's an equivalent fraction, and 3 times 5 is 15. 15 hundredths is equal to 15%, so now we can compare. 15% is less than 16%, so 16% is the greater number. For B, which is greater, 79% or 0.08, which is 8 hundredths. We can write 79% as a decimal. In order to make 79% a decimal, we want to move our decimal 2 places to the left. Since we don't see a decimal, we know it'd be at the end, and then we're going to move it up 2 places. 1, 2, which will put it in front of the 7, so it'd be 0.79 or 79 hundredths. 0.79 or 79 hundredths is greater than 8 hundredths, so 79% is the greater number. Now we have an additional example. You can pause the video and try it on your own, or you may follow along. For number 1, which is greater, 25% or 7/25? We will convert 7/25 to a fraction out of 100, and then that will help us convert that to a percent and then compare it to 25%. So 7/25 if we want to convert it to a fraction out of 100, we would have to multiply the denominator 25 times 4 to get 100. 7 times 4 would then be 28. And 28 hundredths would be 28%. 28% is greater than 25%, so 7/25 would be greater. For number 2, which is greater, 0.49, which is 49 hundredths, or 94%. We can convert 94% into a decimal. So we'll first start with 94, and we have 94%. In order to make this into a decimal, we're going to move our decimal 2 places to the left. Since there is no decimal in 94%, it would be at the end, and we'll move it 1, 2, which puts it in the front. So now we have 0.94. So this would be 94 hundredths, and we're comparing that to 49 hundredths. If we want to know which one is greater, that would be 94 hundredths, which was 94%. Now we're looking at a second example for comparing fractions, decimals, and percents. For example 2, you, your sister, and a friend each take the same number of shots at a soccer goal. You make 72% of your shots, your sister makes 19/25 of her shots, and your friend makes 0.67 or 67 hundredths of his shots. Who made the fewest shots? If you look over to the left at the remember box, it says to order numbers from least to greatest, write them as they appear on a number line from left to right. So what we're going to do is we're going to write 72% and 19/25 as decimals. First we'll start with you. You had 72% of your shots. So if we're going to write 72% as a decimal, our decimal, since there isn't one, would be after the 2, and we'll move it 2 places to the left. So 1, 2, we'd put it in front of the 7, which would give you 0.72 or 72 hundredths. For your sister, you have 19 25ths. With a fraction, we're going to convert it to an equivalent fraction out of 100. We'd multiply 25 times 4 to get 100, so we need to multiply 19 times 4 to make an equivalent fraction, and that would give us 76. So we have 76 hundredths, and as a decimal, that would be 0.76. Now we can order all 3 of them on a number line. You had 0.72 or 72 hundredths, and that would be here in the middle. Your sister had 0.76 or 76 hundredths, and that would be to the right of 72 hundredths. And then your friend made 67 hundredths of his shots, and that would be to the left of you. 67 hundredths is in between 66 hundredths and 68 hundredths. Now they are all on a number line in order from least to greatest, so we can answer our question. Our question was, who made the fewest shots? So we need to look and see whose number was the smallest, and that would be your friend. So your friend made the fewest shots. Now we have an additional example. You can pause the video and try it on your own, or you may follow along. You, your sister, and a friend each take the same number of shots at a soccer goal. You make 75% of your shots. Your sister makes 13/20ths of her shots, and your friend makes 0.7 or 7/10ths of his shots. Who made the most shots? We first need to convert 75% and 13/20ths into decimals. We can then order all 3 of them on a number line and then see who made the most shots. So first we'll start with 75%. So we have 75%. We're going to convert that to a decimal. There isn't a decimal in 75%, so it would be at the end. We're going to move it 2 places to the left, so 1, 2, and that would give us 0.75. So 75 hundredths. We can order that on our number line, and that would be right here on our number line. Now we can go back and do 13/20ths. We're going to convert that into a fraction out of 100. In order to get 100 in the denominator, we're going to multiply 20 times 5. Now we need to do 13 times 5 to get the numerator. 13 times 5 is 65. So we're going to get 65 hundredths. 65 hundredths written as a decimal would be 0.65. That would be 65 hundredths. So now we can put that on our number line. And 65 hundredths is right here. The last one we need to put on our number line was your friend, and your friend was 7/10, 0.7. 7/10 would be equal to 70 hundredths. We can add a 0 behind it to put it in the hundredths place. So we're going to shade in 70 hundredths on our number line. So we had 75 hundredths was you. Your sister was 13/20ths, which was 65 hundredths. And your friend was 7/10, which is 70 hundredths. Our question was, who made the most shots? The most shots would then be 0.75, and that would be you, because you made 75% of your shots. Don't forget to fill out your notes, and remember to watch the video again if needed.